Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like I've seen the best movie in the DC Cinematic Universe, Wonder Woman! And I'm unimpressed. Yeah, it's real simple. World War I, Chris Pine shows up on Themyscira, the home of the Amazons, who are a bunch of ridiculously hot warrior women who go around warrioring even though they've got nothing particularly that they can fight on this island. So I have to wonder why after hundreds of years they're still bothering to warrior. And then, Wonder Woman, Diana Prince, in this particular iteration, has decided she needs to go out there and end World War I, the war to end all wars. Yes! Okay, basic premise. Totally good so far. And then you've got, everyone talks about it, fish out of water story, stupid. Look, I'm sorry, this woman knows 100 languages, would be familiar with all kinds of cultures. I don't know when the Themyscirans particularly cut themselves off from the rest of the world, but for that 100 languages to be of any value, for her to speak English, she would have had to have come in after Shakespeare, ironically. Because in Shakespeare's day, the English was absolutely indecipherable to a modern-day American, even though they spoke with an American accent as opposed to a British. The British accent, I believe, is a manufactured item that came into the culture sometime later. But I digress. So now you've got this ridiculously dumb movie where a person who can be pierced by bullets has magic armor and super reflexes and can go out there and not be bothered by the weapons of World War I, which of course World War I was the time of gas attacks and a lot of really, really terrible stuff. So, no. Wonder Woman needs to be nigh impenetrable to be able to walk through a hail of gunfire like that and survive. That was silly, but it's a superhero movie, I get it. She needs to be indestructible for dumb reasons, so I can forgive that. But I can't forgive Gal Gadot. Her name is actually Gadot, because that's not really her family name. They changed it, and they're not French. So Gal Gadot, I can't believe her as Wonder Woman. I'm sorry, I'm still having trouble. She's still too small of a person. She doesn't have the musculature. She doesn't look like she spent a lifetime training for combat. I get she's a military veteran. Yeah, okay. Israeli army. I'm totally cool with that. But look, for one thing, this woman speaks 100 languages and she's still got a thick accent. No. For another thing, it's like, look, I just don't believe her swinging that sword around and doing all kinds of damage. I don't. I also, well, okay, I don't want to get into spoiler territory, but they have an explanation for why Zeus is not hanging around. And I'm wondering why Christians aren't up in arms about this whole situation. But, Zeus isn't hanging around, and I have to say this whole thing is kind of silly. You either need to go with the origin of these people as a magicless / possibly Kryptonian, and there's some kind of technology that makes their weapons, or you need to go with the supernatural beings angle. You can't really have both. And that's one of the problems that comes in with this movie. Yeah, I mean, the premise is really getting weak there. Look, we deal with the fact that kryptonite is a thing in the Superman movies. There's no kryptonite. You can't have kryptonite because it would be an element, not a mineral, and it's just stupid. But we run with it because that's the story. We need to run with the idea that the Greek gods somehow exist in order for Wonder Woman to be a thing. Okay? That's just it. So we have to deal with that concept. Now also, I don't want to give it away, but in this movie there is a heavy-handed moral. And again, I think the weakest part of the Bale Batman movies, I haven't seen all of them, but the weakest part of the ones I've seen is when the Joker and Batman are arguing about whether there's still good people in Gotham. You don't talk like that. It's silly. So when you have the heavy-handed moral coming out in Wonder Woman, it really takes me out of the story. Now, I loved Chris Pine. Great job on his part. I think he really lends himself well to this particular part of history, I think. the World War I and World War II eras. I mean, I liked him better in this than I liked him in Star Trek, because, well, I kind of go meh on Star Trek. But here's the thing, okay? The secondary characters were secondary, and I dealt with that. I kind of would have liked to see a little more of them. There's kind of a buddy element to the film, but I understand why they're not there, because there needs to be more Wonder Woman. Gal Gadot, she's a great Wonder Woman so long as she doesn't talk, because Wonder Woman doesn't have an accent. She is super intelligent, speaks all kinds of languages, and it's just, she would be able to speak like a regular person. She would not have an accent, at least not the way she does. And then some of the way she delivers her lines really took me out of it. So again, I enjoyed the movie. I'd call it a B-C+. It's not a bad movie, it's just not a good movie. It makes a lot more sense than Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, because that movie was an utter and total mess. But, hey, it's no Dark Knight. Anyway, that's my opinion. I'm Richard Neal. Please tell me your opinion down in the comments below. And I'd like to hear some real discussion. Everybody tell me why I'm wrong. I know everybody's saying they love this movie, so I know I'm wrong. Just go ahead and tell me why. I'm Richard.